Today we are going to talk about how bad can it get with an insurance company. I'm going to tell you some of my best and worst stories with regards to dealing with insurance companies in a claim situation. Before I get into that, click below, grab the 5 things you must do before starting a car rental business. That also includes the newly updated Car Share Growth Guide. Lots of great information in there. It gives you a city-by-city breakdown of which car share platform is strongest in your area by zip code. You don't want to miss it. Also, be sure to give this channel a like and a subscribe. I always appreciate it. So, I've been getting a lot of questions lately. A lot of you reach out to me about insurance questions. Most of entrepreneurs in this industry don't have a strong understanding of insurance. That is why I created the ultimate mini course in insurance, so that this really kind of clears up this confusion and this topic in this space. But I think a lot of you are very afraid that something horrible is going to happen if you get into a claim with an insurance company and you insure the car incorrectly. So the biggest situation and scenario that I hear about where people are really afraid of dealing with someone like State Farm or Progressive or Geico, whatever, is when you are insuring a car for the hybrid of personal use as well as car sharing. If you are insuring a car for full-time car sharing like on Turo or Getaround, there are products for that. ABI Period X insurance is solid for Turo. Roamly's car share product is solid for Getaround. But the tricky situation is when you have a car that you want to use for personal use at times, but also maybe car share, you put it on Turo or Getaround on the weekends, right? So let's talk about this. I'm going to tell you how bad it can get. I have seen the belly of the beast, and I'm going to tell you just exactly what happens. So like I said, if you have a car that is being used for dual use, like you have a car you want to use for car share half the time as well as personal use, in that scenario, you cannot use ABI or Roamly. You're going to have to use a traditional insurance company like Progressive, Geico, Allstate, etc. Now, there is an art form to dealing with these situations. So first of all, if you're going to get a policy with Geico or State Farm, whatever, do not call them up and say, hey, I'm planning to put my car on Turo, but I also want to drive my car personally. How do you feel about that? Don't do that. Just don't do that. You don't have to tell these guys everything, all right? Now, I'm not saying that you need to mislead them. I think it's best to be upfront and honest with them as much as possible. But you also don't have to share every little detail of your life and your car with the insurance companies. You have to understand that insurance companies are basically like the mafia. They will take any detail that you give them and they will use it against you. That is just what they do. I don't know how else to explain that, but they are not on your side. It's just the reality. So the sooner you understand that they are not on your team, the better. So I'll say this, if you have a car share car that is also being used for personal use, a little bit of both, if there is an accident while you are driving the car personally, you take the claim through Progressive. If there's an accident while you are car sharing it, you take the claim through Turo. It's that simple. You don't have to tell each other about each other. When the car is on Turo, it's on Turo's insurance, on their jurisdiction. When the car is on personal use, it's on Progressive insurance. It's on their jurisdiction. Now, I know Progressive would love to hear about what you are doing with the car. They would also like to know how much you're driving. They would like to know how much you are speeding, how many hard stops you'd have, any information, how much you're eating pizza in the car, how many women you're throwing in the back, whatever. They want to know everything. I'm telling you, they would love to know all this information. This is why they try to incentivize you to put trackers on the car so they can spy on you. Don't do it. I'm telling you now, they're like the mafia and they want to know as much information about you as possible. Now, in New York State, there is a list and a registry of all cars that are on Turo, which is stupid. It sucks. So if you're in New York State, there is a chance that the insurance companies have access to the Grandmaster list of all cars on Turo. That complicates things for people in New York State. But I will tell you the greatest sin of all that I committed in insurance, and this was probably back in 2017, and this was the greatest sin. I took an Uber driver, put him on my car. No, he was not on my insurance policy. However, the law says in New Jersey, when I was in New Jersey, just outside New York City, that if the car is insured, it has to be covered no matter who is driving it. So I knew this law, and therefore I exploited it. However, it came with a massive headache. So I had a driver on the car who was normally driving for Uber, was using my car, which was just insured under my name. First of all, that's like two major sins with insurance companies right off the bat. But let's continue. Worst case scenario happened. He took the car, he was driving drowsy, and he rammed another car on the side of the road, causing $15,000 worth of damage. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you get yourself into this situation, you're gonna have about 2.5 to 3 months of a headache. However, I will tell you, I got through it, I survived, thank God, and it worked out okay. And amazingly, they didn't even drop me off the policy. Like I said, I committed the most grand master sin of insurance. I had a Uber driver on the car, he wasn't even on the policy, and it was a mess. Like he caused a huge accident. Nobody got hurt, thank God, but it was a big situation. So in that scenario, because he wasn't on the policy, the insurance company conducted an investigation with me. So I had to explain how I knew the guy, why he was there, driving my car, etc. Now, if you ever get yourself into the situation, you're gonna wanna book a call with me right away, and I will tell you exactly how to deal with this. But I will say, I'm not gonna get into exact details of what I told him, but I will tell you that you need to know the exemptions of your insurance policy very well, because they're gonna interrogate you about the nature of your relationship with this person. Because I knew the exemptions very well on the policy, I knew what not to say. Now, like I said, I will just stop right here and caveat this by saying it is always better to be upfront with insurance companies to save yourself this headache. But if you do get yourself into this mess, I can't help you because I know exactly how to deal with this. But the first thing their people will do is they're going to dig into everything. They're going to want to see the financials on the car. They're going to see that you're paying a loan. They're going to want to see if you have somebody else on the car. How do you know them? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's a whole ordeal. It's messy, trust me. If you answer all their questions and you do avoid their exemptions, because that's what they're aiming for, they're trying to get you to trip over one of their exemptions so that they can get out of paying the claim. Welcome to insurance, folks. They're awful people, and it's basically a racket, and they're pirates. So as soon as you understand that they are pirates and they would prefer not to pay your claim, it'll make your life a lot easier. So like I said, if you understand the exemptions of the policy, go home right now, pull up your policy, look through all the exemptions, write them down, memorize them, write them on the wall 10 times, whatever you got to do to remember what they are. Then if you ever get yourself into this situation, you can get around it as long as you don't hit the exemptions. As soon as they exhaust their investigation and they conclude that you have not violated any exemptions, they will pay out the claim. That's about as bad as it gets with insurance. They take you through an investigation, they interrogate you some more, and they interrogate you even more. And that's literally how bad it gets. Now, afterwards, was I dropped from the policy? No. All they did was raise my rate. That's it. Now, does that incident follow you around if it's on personal insurance? Yes. Did it raise my rate for years to come? A little, not terrible. It raised my rates probably about $50 to $60 a month across the board. Now, are you going to become like the black sheep of insurance industry? Yes. Now, that said, I am still able to get insurance. It's not a problem. But I will tell you that I committed like 3 cardinal sins with insurance, and I have lived to tell the tale. So if you make a minor mishap with your insurance, it's not going to ruin your life. That's the purpose of this story. That said, you should go into car rentals educated and understand how to deal with this. There's a variety of different situations. That's why I put together a mini course to help you with that. You can see that in the description below. But overall, I promise you, it's not going to be a life-ending event. I went through probably the worst possible thing you could possibly go through. I would not recommend putting an Uber driver on your car without adding them to the policy and being upfront with an insurance company about that. That created a huge headache. But this is why I'm qualified to talk to you about this topic, because in my first 2 years, I made every single mistake possible. So overall, relax, chill out, come talk to me about insurance. I will help you. I promise. I help people all the time on insurance. And you will live a nice, peaceful life doing car rentals, and you won't have to worry about declinations on insurance. So, Hakuna Matata, friends. Drop a comment below, and I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you.